Craig, a couple of midweek games this time round. Did the fact that we beat Bala 2-1 help to wrap it up quickly and then focus on the next game?
Yeah, I think knowing me now, I think, you know, I'm very much an in the moment person. Obviously, at some point you've got to do some forward planning. You know, it's just we need to do that in football sometimes, but you don't want to get ahead of yourself. You don't want to look for the Connah's Quay game before we finish the Bala game. So we're very much concentrating on Bala on Monday night. We're glad it was Monday and not Tuesday. You know, there was a bit of sense prevailed in that with everything, with the fixture. So yeah, the important thing was we went and beat Bala. In obviously we're hard, and then the minute we beat them, then we can start moving on and preparing properly for Connah's Quay on Friday.
And you often say, and rightly so of course, that the next game is the most important one. This most definitely has a lot of importance attached to it, because if the New Saints goes to Deeside Stadium, avoids defeat, then we lift a 15th record-breaking title.
Yeah, it does. There's added bits on it with it being possibility to win the championship there. You know, there's a few little, you know, back and forth with it. Obviously, I've spent a bit of time there recently as well. There's been other players that have been at this club and at Connah's Quay and vice versa. So, obviously Connah's Quay have been TNS's closest rivals for probably the last 4 or 5 years. So there's always been a healthy rivalry between the two clubs. So yeah, it would be nice to go there and beat them. You know, but we still got to go there and turn up. It's not just about beating them, it's about the process that will follow every game of the season. The process will follow moving forward. You know, the preparation, they're getting the week's training right, the rest, the recovery, you know, the set plays, the tactics, the everything again. You know, the full week. It's with being on the Monday night, it's give us the opportunity to get 2 or 3 full days on the grass again to prepare for a big game. So that's important. So it's not just, yes, look, we work hard in the processes to win games, but I think the importance of the process is very important, because without that structure and the base behind you, then you can't just go and turn up and say, oh look, we need to win today, boys, and it's going to happen. So we're prepared right, we're prepared properly, as we do every single game, and just coincides that, you know, avoiding defeat officially gives us the league title.
And you mentioned the training there, of course. There is that added incentive this time round. How's it gone this week?
Yeah, good. It's given an extra couple of days for recovery, the boys who played on Monday. So, you know, because we've had a group of probably 13, 14 players that have played most weeks and played a lot of minutes. So I think it has helped out by playing on the Monday to give them opportunity, an extra day rest, and then also an extra day on the training pitch to organise our shape and how we're going to go and what we're going to do and how we're going to attack the game. So yeah, it has been. It's also as well to give other lads who are coming back in an extra day training. So yeah, it's helped with no end, but at the end of the day, it's just another game.
Like all games, it will be a tough one, and perhaps a different encounter to that one against Ballatown. You always pick your sides according to the fixture that's coming up. Yeah. Will there be many changes perhaps from the Ballatown game when we take on Connah's Quay Nomads?
We've looked at it, we've analysed them, we've looked at previous games against them, we've watched their games, the last 2 or 3 games, and we'll, like I say, you know, as you said, you know, I'm not giving too much away, but we will pick the team that we feel is the best on the day to go and win the game. You know, but as we know, you know, even more so in like football right now, modern day football, the squad is key. Substitutes, you know, I think there must be a huge stats on subs coming on affecting games in all leagues, not just our league, not just with us, in all leagues over football now. You know, people coming on getting goals, people, you know, Quay was a prime example against Connah's Quay last time. You know, he comes on for 2 or 3 minutes, he gets the equaliser, and he keeps our unbeaten run going in it. And it almost, not saying it turned the season, but it gave us opportunity then to build from an unbeaten run again, and we kicked on again. We picked some really good results up after that as well, and went on a good run. So the importance of the whole squad is really key, and we're getting a lot more people fit now. There's a lot more competition, and we've got a lot more options from the bench as well.
We have played the Nomads 3 times this season. Nathaniel MG Cup went to penalties, but 1-1 after 90 minutes. And then in the league there, 1-1 as you've mentioned there, Guion David's late equaliser. A 2-1 victory for TNS at Park Hall. That indicates that it will be a close encounter. Yeah,
it will, without a shadow of a doubt. You know, I know the players and know the club very well. You know, and it's been built on Andy Morrison been there for 5-6 years, and a real solid base, and some really good players, professional players, players that are fantastic, on the pitch and off the pitch, a really good group of spirit, and do the basics really well. And obviously Neil's went in there and added his little bits and pieces to it as well. So it's going to be a tough game. We know that, the league doesn't really lie. They are closest competitors as we stand, being second place, and it's been that give or take for the last 5 years. Obviously Connah Nomads won the league 2 years in a row, and TNS were second in both them. So for the last 5 years, the rivalry's been really strong and healthy. But you'd like to think we've got an added incentive that we can go there and actually win the league championship in a close rivals. Ground is always probably a little bit more sweeter than it would be just beating somebody else. So we've got that added bonus of trying to do that, and that, but that'll work both ways. Connah's Quay will be knowing the players and knowing the staff. They'll be like, there's no way in the world we're letting TNS win the trophy on our home ground, on our patch. So both will it'll be a really tough game for both sets of players.
And we've just talked about players that possibly will feature. Do you have the starting 11 already in your mind, or are you perhaps open to one or two tweaks?
Yeah, look, we are mid-week. The game's on Friday, so yes, almost. I've got probably 99% of what I feel I need and how to approach the game. There's always that little bit of flexibility you need. Something might happen between now and the game, and you've got to be ready for that. But yeah, near enough of know what I'm going with.
And finally, Craig, although we are some games away from the grand finale, the JD Welsh Cup final, the venue has now been announced, and we'll be back at Nanporth. That will be a carbon copy, hopefully not as far as the results concerned, but your last game at the New Saints was against Ballatown in the JD Welsh Cup final there.
It was, and it's something that stuck in my throat quite a bit over, I'm sure a lot of people would say let it go. Since then you've moved on, and you've moved about a little bit and been successful other places, and come back to the club and won games and hopefully have an element of success here as well. But it was something that did stick in my throat, because we were one game away for winning the treble, which would have been completely unprecedented. The double treble was, but treble would have just, I think, just made the bar a little bit higher in the same year as breaking the world record of victories, consecutive victories. So yeah, it is. It's very ironic, but I'm a little bit sad really about the cup final being there. Not for me, not for the club, but more so for the players, for our players, for Bala players, or any player that found themselves in the final, to go and play a game when they set the standards that FAW last season and played at Cardiff City. It's really fitting for a prestigious competition to have a final played at the where the national team play. Wales played all their qualifiers in Cardiff City Stadium, and I think yes, there's two North clubs playing the final, but I think the players deserve a bit more recognition and in a bit more of a pat on the back, and say go and enjoy yourself on a championship stroke international stadium, instead of Nanthport in its day was decent, but we all know what's happened there. There's a second tier club playing there. There's ladies, there's girls, there's a bus company playing there, and it's quite common knowledge. I've been there recently myself, and it's run down quite a bit, etc. It's not the Nanthport that was there 5-6 years ago, where everyone loved playing there. I think it's probably Bangor City didn't want to move from Farrow Road to a brand new facility like that, because it took edge off them a little bit. But yeah, I'm just sad more than anything. It's sad for players. It's sad for the league as well. We're really pushing the league to try and get viewers to come and watch the numbers, try and get people through the door. And I just think especially the FA Cup, the equivalent of the English FA Cup, is England would never not play it at Wembley or one of the big stadiums like that. They wouldn't go and play it at a League Two team or etc. So it is what it is. The decision's been made. We'll look forward to it anyway, because it's a trophy for grabs. And we'll prepare properly. But I'm just probably more sad for the progression of the league more than anything else.